Alright, just so refreshing again, we get another error. So what's it this time? Undefined property validator error fields. Okay, so it says error fields undefined property. Let's go ahead and see what that is. This error fields. Oh, so instead of error fields, should be field errors. Okay. Go ahead, refresh. It's okay, so it seems like we're almost there. One more. So field errors on line 66. Let's fix that. Line 66. Alright. Field errors. Okay, Mr. R over here. Seems like this should do the trick, but it didn't. I failed you once again. Undefined variable field errors on line 66. So we're saying field error, so we don't need the S. Okay, refresh. Okay, so that did it. So as you can see, first name cannot be empty. It's saying that, okay? But it did seem like it's passing validation for checking the length of the field. So let's go ahead and make sure that it doesn't pass that. All right, so what are we doing over here? So we're saying if string length is less than field rule 1. So what is that doing over here? Okay, apparently this, when I was calling it, I did call it min underscore length, and in here, yes, it's min underscore length when I was calling it, and in the switch statement for checking what satisfies, I didn't put underscore there. So guys, it's case sensitive, so just remember that. Alright, so let's go on, refresh again, we try. Okay, so it works now. So first name cannot be less than 2 in length. First name cannot be empty. Okay, so let's go and add validation for all these fields. Okay, so let's just copy this again. All right, paste it. So we added validation first name, so we say last name, copy that, last name. So we're calling for validation. So last name must have a min length of 2 and it can't be empty. So let's go ahead and do that for email and password as well. We'll give them slightly very different validation rules. So email as well. So we want to make sure that the email has a minimum length of 6. Okay, and we want to make sure that the password has a minimum length of 8 as well, just like we did in the last series. Okay, so min length of 8, and it can't be empty as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and refresh that. Actually, before we refresh, let's just submit it as it is right now. It should give us errors all over here, so submit. Okay, we didn't get that error. So basically the problem is we actually have the errors set, but we didn't output the errors just after each of the fields. So we'll copy this, paste it just after, right after each field. We'll rectify the name shortly. So last name and email here, and we have password here. Okay, so we're outputting errors for first name, last name, email, and password. Alright, so let's go ahead and submit this. So we have errors being outputted right after each field. So let's go ahead and style these actually to make them a bit smaller and show them in red color. So we'll actually go to at the top of our page over here, head, we'll add a style area, and what's going to be inside that style is saying style can be inside HTML. That's correct, because we have to put it in the header area. So style. So if you remember over here, each of the errors that we're outputting, let's have a look. Alright, each of the errors that we're outputting in this p tags, we actually giving each line of error a class of error. So we can target that class by saying error, and then set the color to red, and then set the font size to something a bit smaller, so it's distinguishable from actually the fields. So font size, we're gonna say 12 pixels. That will do it. Alright, so let's go ahead in our field form right now and just submit. Alright, so first name cannot be empty, everything is outputting properly. So let's just go ahead and do one more thing, guys. Let's add one more function in our validator plugin. So if you see right here, sometimes you will not want to output errors right after your input tags. You might want to leave this space and not clutter it, and just output the errors at the top of your form actually. So instead of outputting it after each input element of your form, you want to output it at the top of the form or after the form. Like all the errors, like all of these 8 errors, you want to output them at the top of your form. So let's go ahead and add the functions.